I am only reviewing this album so that I can review their next album. Because honestly, if I didn't review this one as well as the next one, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. Because I like that sense of wholeness in my reviews. It's like, yeah, I've done all of their albums. I say, even though I've left the Captain Beefheart as just the one. I'll get back to it at some point.
Quirked up white boy with a little bit of swag.
Neutral Milk Hotel, which is a I'm sorry, I hate that name. I really don't like that name. It just sounds weird to me. Anyway, I don't like it. Anyway, Neutral Milk Hotel is a band formed in 1989 in Louisiana. The members were Jeff Mangum, Scott Spillane, Jeremy Barnes, and Julian Coster. They're a cult classic band among indie music lovers. They released a few EPs before their debut album, but the consensus on them is that they're a bit up and down, so I won't be reviewing them. And in 1996, they released their debut album On Avery Island, which I'm reviewing now. I know, shocker.
Which rock star would your lady get with?
This is almost too easy. Me.
Let's check in with your boo.
Yay!
Oh!
So, in one word, this album is bizarre. The album is packed with distortion and crunchy sounding guitars, at least for the first half of the album it is. The second half is a lot slower and more melancholic, which is still good, just not as good as the first half was, in my opinion anyway. Again, I think I said this before, but I do have a bias towards music that sounds like the speaker is broken. Frontman Jeff Mangum's singing isn't the best thing you've ever heard, but his lyrics they're like a completely different beast. With his lyrics, he creates these incredibly vivid yet completely insane images. He's kind of like the Dr. Seuss of music in that way. It's just strange. Look at these lines from Garden Head / Leave Me Alone as an example. Hang on guys. A cult classic underground album featuring strange, distorted, heavy production and seemingly nonsensical but actually brilliant lyrics. Oh my god. God, it's just like Death Grips, guys. So for the best songs on here, one of them is definitely got to be the opener, Songs Against Sex. A great opener that dives head first into the album's kind of low quality soundscape. As the title suggests, it's a song against sex. I imagine stuff like this is kind of the allure of Neutral Milk Hotel to people who spend 25 hours a day online. You know, it's very relatable. One of my favorites is Marching Theme. It's an instrumental with a big, heavy-hitting bass synth with some strange, lighter ones on top of it. Like some of the other songs, Complete Madness. It reminds me of Science Fair, off of Black Country New Road's debut album, which I also reviewed, if you haven't seen that. I know I haven't usually kind to instrumental tracks in my reviews, but I do like this one. Another one of the best ones, in my opinion, is Garden Head / Leave Me Alone. I mentioned a bit of the first verse off of this one earlier. While I don't think this song is as instrumentally interesting as Songs Against Sex or Marching Band, I think lyrically it makes up for that a lot. It's both about substance abuse and a toxic relationship. The way Jeff Mangum can kind of blend these two topics together and talk about them at the same time is really something worth listening to, I think. You might have noticed that all of the best songs, in my opinion, are off of the first half of the album. You're also going to notice that all of the worst songs, in my opinion, are off the second half of the album. As I said before, it's a different style, it's not a worse style, but the first half's just better than the second. So, to start off with for the worst songs, Avery Island / April 1st, and I'm back to hating instrumentals. Unlike Marching Theme, that cranks everything that made this album kind of fun to listen to, up to 11, this song takes it all away. This is kind of one of the first ones that leans into the more melancholic music. And it is just such a shift, I feel. It just feels really slow, and I get that they wanted something slower, but it is a little disappointing after hearing so much cool stuff. Another one of the worst songs is Naomi. It's not bad, it's just kind of forgettable, in my opinion. It features Jeff singing about a girl who he's never met. I sure hope this doesn't happen again. Another one of the worst songs, and honestly probably the worst song on the album, is Three Sisters Swallowing a Donkey's Eye. It's an instrumental closer. Well, it's not technically an instrumental. There's like one line of spoken word at the beginning, but there's no lyrics for the rest of it. And it's 14 minutes long. And the thing with this song is it had so many cool, interesting ideas, but I feel like they could have been executed a lot better if it was just cut down to like 4 or 5 minutes. Because it's not like they have so many ideas, they have to make it 14 minutes. Like, so much of this track is just the same thing over and over and over and over again. It spends ages before it gets to a new idea. And the new idea is cool, just takes ages to get there. As for the cover, this is an interesting one because this album actually has 3 different covers, all of which were designed by Jeff Mangum. So the original normal cover is this strange kind of like rainbow carnival, has the album name, the red borders. I'll talk a bit more about it when I can show you the other ones for comparison. The UK cover got the red borders as well, but the picture was replaced by like a child's drawing looking thing. I think it's fine, I just don't think it's as good. It doesn't fit the music as well, in my opinion. The album was re-released on streaming services a few years ago with this kind of cleaner, I suppose, looking cover. It's just the carnival picture without the red borders. Again, I think it's meant to be a cleaner cover, you know, a bit easier to look at. But I think the red borders, as insignificant seemingly as they are, kind of add a lot to the cover. In my opinion, they kind of give a bit more warning to the chaos of the album. Although, thing is, if you're going to get a physical copy of this album, just word of warning, there are 2 extra songs on the UK version and on the streaming version that aren't on the original US release. Or at least they were not. I'm not sure about right now. I don't own a physical version of this album. And I've disregarded those 2 extra songs in my review because they're extras, I don't really count them. But just so you know, those versions of the album have 2 extra songs. If you're gonna pick it up physically, just something you might want to be aware of. I don't know. Overall, I think Neutral Milk Hotels, God I hate that name, their debut is still easily overshadowed by their second album. But I think it's worth a listen. This one. It doesn't get a lot of love, it doesn't even get talked about really. But maybe it should. At least in my opinion, maybe it should. Overall, I think 7.7 cartons of expired milk is a good score to give this album. So yeah, I absolutely, positively cannot wait to review the Anne Frank album. That'll be really fun. Alright, bye.